Welcome back. We continue with In the Headlines. Now we get to have a quick look at what the papers have for us today. We start you off with the Daily Nation. Politics, and so much politics has just heavily been featured here on the front page, starting with the conversation around Azimio's big catch. Is it a big catch or is it not? Raila and Kalonzo inch closer to a 2022 poll deal, even as, sources from this particular meeting say that the OCA team is, looking at all alternatives, but they're hoping to be partners with Azimio for the 2022 general elections, while some other sources from the Azimio team say that the ODM chief is key on having partnerships with the individual parties within OCA and not necessarily the whole OCA as one outfit. That is a story that has been covered here on this particular daily. Coming to the main read, why is he still in office, with a picture of the deputy president? Why is he still in office? Here it goes on to say, just a statement by the deputy president: I have no space to retreat and do not have the luxury to surrender. Those are his words. But so many people are asking why he has been, why is he still in office, given he has been constantly attacking the same administration under which he's supposed to be serving as the deputy president, given he is second in command when it comes to the pecking order of this country. In the absence of the president, he is expected to take charge of the country, but on the other hand, he is still fighting the same administration. So why then is he taking home a salary? This is a story that has been covered in depth, 2 whole pages. Is it a question of anger or defiance or disillusioned rather, why the deputy president won't just quit? That is politics for you here on this front page. And finally, this is a story concerning one Miss Quinta Omondi, who 6 years ago was shot in the eye, and after 7 months, she did win a case against the state and the warder who shot her. But 6 years down the line, she is yet to get the compensation that was pegged at 14 million Kenya shillings. 6 years down the line, she's still yet to get this compensation from the state and the people that were involved in this particular case. So what's the way forward for her, given she was shot when she was at the age of 16 and now she is 21? This story will be giving you the details in just a bit. Victor.
We'll be discussing that later on, and actually in the next topic. On the front page of the Star, Uhuru to witness Kalonzo, Gideon and Raila new deal. One Kenya Alliance leaders to attend joint ODM and Jubilee National Delegates Convention on Saturday, where pact will be signed. Over 10 Azimio la Umoja affiliate parties will also sign the pact. The president will witness that in person. Raila calls DP Mr. Promise, moves to lock coastal turf. Raila is in Mombasa for a 4-day tour in Mombasa. And he said that laptop for schools, 1 million jobs, double-digit economy are among some of the promises that the deputy president promised. But now Raila calls him Mr. Promise. Moving on, get out of Uhuru's shadow and face me, Ruto tells Raila. DP says that August election, a contest between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja. But he accuses Raila Odinga of painting the August election as that between Kenya Kwanza and the president. So he's calling out Raila Odinga to come out in open and face him. Kalonzo sets conditions for talks with Raila. Of course, that will be happening on Saturday. The OCA principles say that talks must be structured on the basis of equality of partnership done in good faith. Now, there's a story here that I think will be eliciting a lot of debate. Grant leave after miscarriage. There is a petitioner who is already having that. Says that victims need a leave for medical or psychological treatment, same benefits as new mothers. I think that should be... I don't know what to think about that, ladies. Because a petitioner has asked senators to amend the Employment Act of 2007 to give leave rights to women who miscarry or suffer stillbirth. I think it's more of psychological effect more than... It's a huge one. if you ask me. I don't know what you think about that, ladies.
It is definitely a big issue. We have seen so many women succumb to postpartum depression. And this is a conversation that I was actually seeing a while back where during the pregnancy, people are caring for you as the mother.
Yes.
You are given all the assistance that you need. But once you have delivered the child, all the attention shifts from you to the child. Rightfully so, because this child needs all the support. But what happens to that lady? You know,
because loss of pregnancy is a profound effect.
That's another issue, You know, it is a loss that so many people cannot understand until you actually get to experience. It's one of those situations, sadly. So,
all right, handing it over to Doreen. Doreen, what's on the front page of the newspaper?
All right, so claims of assassinations is dangerous. This is what the DP is warning, and this is after politician Stanley Livondo just gave sentiments over the weekend during the Moses Kuria Saturday homecoming event. And also part of what Moses Kuria mentioned yesterday is that he distanced himself from those remarks and also asked the DCI to probe into that matter, saying that much as he might have been the convener for that particular meeting or that Thanksgiving ceremony, he is not responsible for what a politician or whatever anyone speaks or says in such kind of an event. So yes, again, also clearly politics taking center stage of this paper this morning. The Justin Muturi declaring his bid for presidency, saying that he will not join either Azimio Kenya Kwanza. The issue of fighting corruption if elected into government, that is what Oka leaders are saying. Just continuing to say that part of what they will also do is restore economy by focusing on industrialization, manufacturing and creation of jobs. And the question still remains, how will they do this? Because the ideas are always there. The question is always in the implementation. And even as that is happening, the Raila Kalonzo breakfast meeting raising speculations. And again, the question that perhaps many are asking is that what exactly was discussed in this breakfast meeting? Is Kalonzo perhaps planning to join Azimio? And if that is the case, what happens to his statement whereby he mentioned that if he supports Raila Odinga for the third time, then perhaps he would be a fool? And this is perhaps why we keep saying all the time that a day in politics is quite a long time. So away from political matters, now women representative in Mombasa urges women to register as voters, saying that women need to take the forefront when it comes to election matters, national issues, as well as politics. And they can only do this if they get registered as voters, because then they get to be part of the decision makers. Know that also this comes at a time when voter registration or listing is still ongoing in various counties at the Huduma centers. And away from that, there's a latest report by National Drought Management Authority, which has just listed 12 out of the 47 counties which are currently being affected by starvation. These counties, among them include Wajir, Mandera, as well as Isiolo County. And you can remember that early this year, again, the government came up with measures short as well as long term to see how they can mitigate this particular issue. And again, when we get to the details, I'll be telling you more about that. And lastly, in Suna West, Migori County, yesterday morning, a police officer killed his wife after spraying 16 bullets and later on turned the gun on himself. And the sad part of this story is that their 2-year-old son was actually watching as this was happening. And he just watched the bodies of his parents lying lifeless in the living room. So you can imagine the kind of impact this will have on this 2-year-old son. Details are still being digged out on perhaps what could have led to this incident in Migori County yesterday. Ray.
I have a copy of the Standard, and let's just skim through what we have on the front page. Just take homes of what was happening over the weekend. And as far as matters of politics are concerned, we had Azimio down in Mombasa. We had Oka in Mombasa, and there's talk of a deal in the offing between Kalonzo and Raila there. So Wiper leader ready for Azimio deal as Speaker launches bid for Senate House. We're talking about the NDC that took place, that has now installed the Speaker, Justin Muturi, as the presidential candidate under the Democratic Party, DP. Talking about learning, we already, this is going to have this particular year, the education year, or rather the education calendar, we're going to have 4 national examinations taking place. Now, it's all set for 2.1 million learners to sit for KCPE and KCSE. If you're a parent and a guardian, you might understand this because we're going to be having our children arriving from school, various schools, or rather taking a very long break, unlike the 10-14 days that we have experienced before there. Some of the dates ranging between the 2nd all the way to the 5th of this month. All the best for the candidates, there, KCSE and KCPE. However, there's a bit of worry, especially in secure areas of Baringo there, where 300 students might be missing these particular exams owing to matters of insecurity. As we understand, is that police apparatus have currently been deployed to Tot High School in Baringo, where, after the school bus was attacked and the driver killed. So much is happening there. We're going to be keeping tabs on matters of insecurity in that region. Now, Sagana 3, and I use that loosely because that's what we've been having it on social media, so to speak. We're talking about that particular meeting that is expected to take place on Wednesday, and we are expecting a major announcement from President Uhuru Kenyatta, on the way forward, especially when it comes to the matters of his succession and what is his game plan. So much has been said. Remember, under his tenure, he has come up with 4 areas under the Big 4 agenda that he really says are part and parcel of his legacy. With the clock ticking, what is on his plate and what is his maneuver when it comes to matters of succession? It seems that he has placed himself right at the center of his succession, and he plays a key role after the polls. This is actually the big read on this particular daily this morning, that has been accompanied by a picture of what was happening at the Totonoka grounds there, where Azimio la Umoja was having their campaign. Also on matters health, Kenyans took to social media after, last week we had a medical breakthrough there, and this is, a successful surgery of a man who suffered from erectile dysfunction, and it was actually corrected locally. And it has brought a lot of talk and curiosity. There's a piece there from the front page where a consultant urologist and lead surgeon says the procedure involves implanting a prosthesis device in the penile shaft, and it is a special type of material, alloy, meaning material mixed together, and it gives extra rigidity, leading to satisfaction of almost 95%. So if you're keen and curious about what doctors do to help those men suffering erectile dysfunction, and this comes from a lot of curiosity and praise alike for that particular successful surgery that took place last week locally. Well, there's an article there. It has been fleshed out for you from the front page, at the front page of the Standard this morning. And about bad weather, we have been seeing, if you've been on social media, there's a storm Eunice there, and Kenyans have been taking to social media with the national carrier also praising Captain Karori there, Ruth Karori, who executed a near-perfect cross-landing at London's Heathrow Airport, flying a KQ Boeing 787. She steered the plane to the runway at around 4 p.m. as the dangerous storm Eunice raged at speeds of 120 kilometers per hour, or rather 70 knots. As they say, well, what a man can do, a woman can do. So if you've not watched that particular clip, well, get online. It is available there. She indeed did quite a smooth landing there, given her current circumstance there. So all the best to the candidates who are going to be sitting for the exams. 2.1 million of them, KCSE and KCPE. That's what we have on the front page of the Standard this morning. Jane?
That story concerning Captain Eunice did take so many people, proudly so, to be Kenyan and being associated with her, and especially it being a woman, like, my God, And if you actually saw the video, you could see how strong those winds were.
Ask me. I know about it.
You know you were there?
No. Cross landing is one of the most challenging parts in our career, you know, but we use the simulators perfectly well to help us. Yeah, so
It must have been something when you got to experience
exactly. But
that.
she did it well.
In your other alternative life.
Yeah, comrade, you did well.
It's the thing that unifies us as
Do not take
Kenyans.
Victor seriously, by the way.
No, it was a heavy one, and
It was.
for those people who know how cross landing is all about, with the wind, actually you feel like you are swaying off the runway. But she did it well. Girl power.
You know how
Woman
you
power.
feel when you're losing your balance,
Yes.
when you feel dizzy? Now imagine that on a plane. On a grand scale, you can actually see that plane staggering. But she did such a beautiful job
When I was-
landing that plane. Great.
When I saw that particular clip, it got me thinking. Can you imagine if it was a small carrier? I think it would have been blown off the sky.
I think they would actually have been redirected because
Or even
maybe they couldn't
grounded.
stand. Yeah.
Grounded, because I don't know. A majority of you have been on social media. You've been seeing what has been happening in the in the UK. There, you can't even walk
From
straight.
Eunice.
120
wind has
kilometers
You
been
per hour.
blowing
actually have to
people
hold on
away.
to something, and I couldn't but help but wonder if you're flyweight. What happens to you? It's very important to be
Actually,
a
some
little bit
planes do.
grounded.
Yeah, they do a touch and go. You come, when it's too strong, you just take off.
Actually, they grounded all flights
Yeah.
due to the extreme weather. But given this one was already inbound,
Yeah, she did
just
it the
needed to
Kenyan
touch
way.
down.
Kenyans
what
were
we
hard
say
on-
is-
Shared the passengers were.
I can imagine. Turbulence kidogo unasikianga, Jesus, not today.
At this point is where we say strength of a woman.
Yeah.
I like that.
Strength of a woman.
She kept calm, and I watched her statement. Actually, she said the simulations that they had done
Prepared
really
her.
played a key role in executing that. There were two pilots, but she was steering.
She was the captain.
Yes, she's the captain, and kudos to her.
Yeah, somebody was saying that she did it the Kenyan way, that Kenyans were hardened to do certain things that nobody else can do. So she went to London and she landed perfectly. Nyinyi mnasema
Wengine
ati,
wanashindwa,
mko grounded. Wacheni muone venye I do this thing.
Isn't that why we
Kwa
keep
parking.
saying? Isn't that why we keep saying that if you've lived in this country, there's nothing you cannot do?
Yes, she did it the Kenyan way.
But you saw how that clip really unified us as Kenyans and brought us together. Things that bring Kenyans together, the way we're just there congratulating her and saying she actually did the best she could.
She did us proud as a country. And
That was
speaking
a
of the UK, the Queen has tested positive
For COVID-19.
for COVID-19. How about that? How about that?
Even after...
Mild, according to the official statement, mild flu-like symptoms are what she is presenting with at the moment. How did the Queen get COVID?
And this is even after she already took the vaccine twice.
Wait. Norma.
What
Anyway,
happened?
Let us come back to the Daily Nation. And I'd like to quickly just go over this particular story that I had mentioned earlier on, that I was featured here on the front page concerning one Quinta Amondi, who back in 2016, on the 27th of May, was shot in the eye by, she was caught in the crossfire when they were trying to stop a remandee who was escaping from the Migori GK prison. And according to the investigations, they classified this shooting as misadventure, all right? They proceeded on to pursue this particular case and did win, consequently being awarded 14 million to cater for the damages. But 6 years on, they are not, they're yet to receive the monies, and they're now questioning what is the delay all about, given the AG is yet to respond to this, because according to this daily, they say it has always been a cat and mouse, or rather hide and seek sort of situation between the AG and the victim's lawyer in trying to get justice for Miss Quinta Amondi, given she, according to her father, They had to remove her entire left eye, which also doctors told her exposed her to meningitis, and they were hoping to get this money in order to get reconstructive surgery to help her heal better and, you know, be compensated for this.
There's a story there about that police officer who sprayed his wife with 16 bullets. Yes, Doreen touched about it, but let me just bring to your attention, murder-suicide incident happened after officer checked out but did not surrender his firearm. The question is, you shoot someone 16 times. What would elicit such kind of a reaction? 16 times with an AK-47, close range. One bullet is enough to take someone's life. But when you do it 16 times, then it means this is something that probably boiled for a very long time, and this is premeditated murder.
Crime of passion.
Exactly. Of course, the police are still saying that they are doing their investigation to actually ascertain what happened. But my question is, 16 times? Well, 16 times, quite.
I think for me on that story, I'm still stuck on the fact that the child was watching. Their son,
Yes.
2-year-old son, was watching
Yeah.
as the incident was happening.
The sound of an AK-47 at the dead of the night, 1 a.m., 16
Imagine.
times, it's crazy.
Imagine the impact it will have on this child
Yeah.
long term.
He'll be traumatized. At any drop of even a pin will scare the boy. Believe you me, it will. Okay, so that was happening. What do we have, Doreen?
All right, so let's come to this story on what is actually happening in different parts of the country. I'd mentioned it when you're looking at the front pages, but just perhaps to get into details of the kind of scenario that is happening when it comes to starvation, especially in these 12 mentioned counties. Of course, the most affected ones include Wajir, Mandera, and Isiolo County, who are in, just going by this particular article, as they're saying, residents are in need of humanitarian assistance to avert the deaths that are being recorded as a result of this drought in these areas. Of course, you can get this particular deal and get to understand and read more of what is happening in these various counties as it pertains to matters starvation as well as drought. And at that point is where we bring our segment in the headline to a close this morning, but we still have plenty more of Good Morning Kenya on the other side of this break. Stay with us.